teacher to the people that you cross paths with throughout your day. You have the capacity. You're here. You understand. You commit to this practice. And so you're very much an important part of the healing project of people. Could even say the world. And just a reminder that, when the doctor gets sick, she can't tend to others. So it's important to take care of yourself in a very deep way so that you can really show up for the rest of the people that you come in contact with. So that you can really be a place of comfort and peace and safety for others. Thich Nhat Hanh has a great saying, there's no way to peace. Peace is the way. There's no way to peace. Peace is the way. That's our project. This mindfulness and meditation practice that we do that's so simple and yet not easy. It requires effort. And we put forth that effort. And what made me think about this week, there's so many things that we come across every day as we're meeting people and reading stories. And this week I happened to read a story that really stuck with me because it really hit close to home. It was a story about some diverse communities, maybe in Brooklyn or Teaneck, where different religions or ethnicities were living together harmoniously for many years. And now with world events boiling, there's tension in these communities. There's unspoken things passing through people to each other that are no longer harmonious. So there's a threat to that beautiful diversity that they've built over the years. So you come across these things with great regularity now. And it's really a call. All it is a call to practice more diligently what we do. My son, who's up at college in Boston, he's very much involved with the students and what everyone's talking about. And so he was asking me about something yesterday, and he said, brought it to, the world events. So, Mom, whose side are you on? What side are you on? Boy, you've known me for 20 years. What kind of question is that? He realized that I am on the side of suffering. And I see the suffering on all sides of conflict. And it puts into contrast what we see a lot of our acquaintances and all kinds of people engaging in this notion of taking sides and this notion of knowing which side to be on or knowing which opinion to have. I have one friend she's not showing up too well for her family right now, but she's very, very much sure of the situation on the world stage and what her opinion is on that. And she spends a lot of time reading about it and studying it. Not noticing that there's things that are much more important that need to be tended to right now. So this notion of views was very important to Buddha. The Buddha gave teachings, many different teachings on what's called right view. And right view is part of the Eightfold Noble Path. And I want to share with you a couple of things that I found. This sutta looks like it's from the, it's like I can't see what it, the Nikaya. And anyway, it's the danger in views. The danger in views. And before I read this, so Buddha taught that the idea of knowing, having a viewpoint is one of the most important things that we can work towards, is having a right view. And yet it's very different from what we conventionally think of as having the right view, right? We usually think about that as, oh, well, he did that, and so that's not right, and therefore, I know where I stand on this issue. But it's not that, according to Buddha. There's something actually destructive about that way of walking through the world. There's something very that causes a lot of suffering when we walk through the world, kind of thinking that we know everything, thinking that we have our opinion and having that opinion be set. Anyway, I won't belabor that topic. I'll go straight to what he writes. So this is the danger in views, a miscellany on wrong view. A miscellany on wrong view. So Buddha writes, he says, monks, I do not see even one other thing on account of which unwholesome qualities of mind arise, so much as on account of wrong view. For a person of wrong view, unwholesome qualities of mind increase and expand. So he says, I don't see even one other thing which causes unwholesome qualities of mind as much as having wrong view. He continues, I do not see even one other thing on account of which wholesome qualities of mind do not arise, so much as on account of wrong view. For a person of wrong view, wholesome qualities of mind do not arise. But he says, I do not see even one other thing on account of which, with the breakup of the body after death, beings are reborn in a state of misery, in a bad destination, in the lower world, in hell, so much as on account of wrong view. Possessing wrong view with the breakup of the body after death, beings are born in a state of misery, in a bad destination, in the lower world, in hell. For a person of wrong view, whatever bodily, verbal, or mental conduct he undertakes in accordance with that view, so when he moves, speaks, thinks, all lead to what is undesirable, unwanted, disagreeable, harmful, and causing suffering. For what reason? Because the view is bad. Just as when a seed of neem, bitter cucumber, or bitter gourd is planted in moist soil, it transforms any nutrition it gets from the soil and the water into a fruit with a bitter, disagreeable taste. Even so it is for a person of wrong view. For what reason? Because the view is bad. So then so makes sense. So then if you're like me, you're like, well, how do you know? And so then I'll share with you this wonderful parable of the blind men and the elephant. The blind men and the elephant regarding wrong view. On one occasion, the Buddha was living at Savatthi in Jetta's Grove, and at that time, a number of wanderers were living around Savatthi. They held various views, beliefs, and opinions, and propagated various views. They were quarrelsome, disputatious, wrangling, wounding each other with verbal darts, saying, it's like this, it's like that, it's not like this, it's not like that. Then a number of monks entered the town on an alms round, and after their meal they approached the Buddha and told them what they had seen of these wanderers. The Buddha said, "Monk, these wanderers are blind and sightless." And then he shares this story. He said, there was a king in Savatthi previously who asked his assistant to round up all the persons in the city who were blind from birth. The king asked the man to show the blind man to an elephant. So to some of the men, to each of the men, he presented a different portion of the elephant. So one guy puts his hands on the tusks, the other guy on the trunk, the other guy the tail, the other guy the leg. And when they're done investigating the elephant, he says, "Tell me, what is an elephant like?" So the different people coming from the different parts of the elephant, for example, the man on the tail said, "An elephant is like a rope." And the man on the tusk said, "An elephant is like the handle of a shovel." And the man who was touching the body said, "The elephant is like a storehouse for grains." And each of the others likewise described the elephant in terms of the part they had been shown. Then saying, "An elephant is like this, an elephant is not like that, an elephant is not like this, an elephant is like that," they fought each other with their fists. And the king had made his point. The wanderers, monks, he said, the wanderers of these sects are blind and sightless, and thus they become quarrelsome, disputatious, and wrangling, wounding each other with verbal darts. It's a natural tendency of the mind to want to make sense of things. And we fill in the blanks so that we can feel sure, so that we can feel like we know, so we can feel safe. And yet it's dangerous. It's so dangerous. The Dalai Lama is famous for saying, "If there's one thing I'm sure of, it's that I'm not sure." And that is the spirit of not becoming attached to our views. Having our views is kind of what we do. We're human. But not becoming attached, leaving room, leaving a part of us that says, I'm not sure. Right view is non-discrimination. Right view acknowledges interdependence. Interdependence meaning you and I are deeply interconnected. When I suffer, you suffer. When you suffer, I suffer. It's very much connected. So when I hurt you, I hurt me. Knowing this right view. Right view is also understanding and appreciating, living, knowing the 3 marks of existence. Dukkha, known as suffering, is a universal truth. Have you ever met someone who has not lost someone to death, for example? Have you ever met that person in your life? Suffering is part of our package. Anicca, impermanence. Where will your body and the bodies of all the people on all sides of all wars be 100 years from now? Impermanence is a mark of existence. It is that way. Knowing that. And anatta, no self, this idea of interdependence. Can you count how many plants, animals, including humans, and minerals were involved in getting your breakfast into you today? Can you count that? If you go far back enough, it's infinite. You cannot count. You are not existing alone. You exist because everything else exists. You coexist with everything else. So, the 3 marks of existence. So, I think that's all I want to say on that for today. Yeah, thank you.